Hello, my name's David Dwyer. I'm the founder of Inspire. We are a digital agency based here in Scotland that essentially covers cradle to the grave, the afterlife and the resurrection. What does that essentially mean? Well, it means we take a client's project from concept through to live, and once live we then look to support them, whether that be through technical aspects, through search visibility, whether it be through design. I was first introduced into the world of work. In fact, it's probably better if I go before that, because I'm sure some of you are possibly still at school. You're wondering what it is you want to do with your lives, or perhaps you haven't even considered it yet. You're just focusing on getting past the next exam, or indeed what subjects you want to choose. So maybe it would be helpful if I kind of shared some of my journey, and from that hopefully you can maybe pick out things that align with you or resonate with you, if you will. When I was at school, I wanted to be a bin man or an actuary, right? I loved the idea of jumping on the back of a lorry and the adrenaline rush of kind of getting pulled along by such. But I also loved maths and logic and data. And when I did some research, I thought an actuary would be a good place to go, and also a well-paid one when I left school. However, when I was at school, I was always getting told that I could try harder on my report cards, but I was seemingly still able to get great grades. In fifth year though, I believed the hype from my sister and my parents that I was somehow really clever, and I was able to pick up subjects and concepts with great ease. But the reality was I didn't try very hard. And whilst my grades were okay, they really reflected the lack of effort and were not stellar. I joined the world of work with Scottish Equitable as a clerk, because I'd kind of thought, well, you know what, I've got to kind of progress and get on. And much as my grades had come as a massive shock and shook me to my core, I chose to attend night classes to get my English higher. I wouldn't let failure be my legacy. And that then became a driving force in ultimately who I am. And it's not easy when you don't drive, and you need to walk long distances or get multiple buses to do this. But I did it, and I've seen it through. I could also see that those who worked around me were progressing where those had degrees. And I could see the need then back in 1989 that I needed to go and get myself a degree. If you can't beat them, then you have to join them, so to speak. And the I'm all right, Jack approach wasn't just going to get by. Yeah, I could maybe live by my wits, but it would only get me so far. And I thought I could offer more. So whilst my fifth year grades were okay, but not stellar for actuarial mathematics, my next passion was business economics. So actuarial mathematics was close to me as a route to go down. So what did I do? Well, I researched many courses, and I finally found one at Paisley College of Technology. But why them over others? Well, I found that they had headhunted some of the best minds in business economics. And at the time, I hadn't considered it would make a difference whether I went to an ancient university or I went to a college. I thought what was important was the quality of the education I was going to get. Now, the realities of life are perhaps a bit more complex than that. But at that point, I thought that's what was important, to get a good quality education. In the second year of my degree, I had the choice to choose between marketing, finance or personnel. Being somewhat of a masochist and a narcissist, I felt that the marketing and finance options would be relatively easy, but personnel is where I thought I was weakest. So guess what? I chose the one that I thought I would need to try my hardest with to see myself through. Perhaps this is going back to me saying that I didn't want failure to be my legacy and about driving me forward. I put my heart and soul into my first 3 years of my degree and was able to get grades that made my parents weep with joy. Fantastic. But by fourth year I was burnt out. That said, I still managed to get an excellent degree from what then was a university. But more importantly for me, I really understood what I'd been taught, and it went into my long-term memory, and it stayed with me for the rest of my life. When I left university, I was fortunate to be the only graduate who joined Scottish and Newcastle, which at that time was a huge drinks company selling many different forms of alcohol across the country in the sales function. But more importantly, I made sure I facilitated the opportunities to use my degree. I didn't just sit back and rest on my laurels. I was the one who was told, Dwyer, you don't need to volunteer for the next course because we know you're going to want to be on it. Okay, so I was that person that was always sticking their hand up and either asking questions or asking, can I go and do that, or can I pick up that, or can I help, or can I be involved? Not just because I was trying to, perhaps on the surface, become known, but I wanted to be remarkable. And for me, being remarkable is being worthy of remark. And was David worthy of remark, having been involved in such and such? But I was also learning. I was in a fortunate position that there was many people around me that were far better at doing what I did. So I just learned from them. Spent the time, used my 2 years and kept my mouth shut and just listened and learned. And as time went by, I was in a fortunate position to share that back. But I challenged the business to do things differently. And I loved the flexibility of the various roles that I was in. But there was 2 things that I learnt from working with Scottish and Newcastle. And that was, first of all, you don't have to deal with everyone. But secondly, and this has really stayed with me, don't aim for customer satisfaction. Aim for customer delights. Look to build relationships with people who everyone else seems to have as a problem customer. And turn them into your advocates. Turn them into your ambassadors, if you will, for you. For not just, because what will end up happening is they're not just an ambassador or an advocate for your business, they're an advocate for you. And you'll learn from that. And it also maybe make you feel a little bit humble as well, which is no bad thing. But using my degree, I could see that the decline in the on-trade drinks sector, annual volumes were declining at 5%. It was becoming a race to the bottom in price. Neither of which make good reading when your income is based on improving profitability and improving sales. So what could I do? Well, I could see the rise of the tech sectors. So we're going back to about 1999, 2000 time. And at that time, for those that are old enough, there was a millennium bug. And there's friends and acquaintances of mine whose salaries were going off into the stratosphere. And I'm like, I can do that. I'm capable of doing that. So what did I do? Well, again, I chose to research. Where could I go and get an academic background that would give me a really strong base from which I could then start to develop a career in IT? And ultimately I chose Heriot Watt. Now, for those of you who are familiar with Scotland will know that Dundee and Heriot Watt are not next door to each other. At the time I was living in Dundee, which is some 60 plus miles away. So again, that wasn't going to be easy to commute to on a daily basis. But I felt that that was the right course for me. And I poured my heart and soul into what was a crash course masters and managed to get myself an excellent education. During my dissertation period, I managed to get myself onto the Aviva Mentor programme. After all, I wasn't the average new grad. I'd been through that process. I didn't have to necessarily go back through that kind of learning and that kind of incubation period. But what was in it for me was the fact that I was in a position to then kind of start to learn from others again and work across sectors. But the job didn't start for 9 months. So what did I do? Did I go and find another job in that intervening period and decide that, you know what, much as it's a great role, I need something now? No. I chose to again go back and improve my academic background and try and get the bridge of the gap between both my academic and my work experience. So I did the Microsoft Systems Engineer training. I coordinated the British Computer Society's IT Can Help programme across the UK, which exposed me to accessibility. It exposed me to disabilities in the workplace, ergonomics, a whole range of different aspects, none of which I had previously been exposed to. When I was at Aviva, finally joined them, I was allocated a mentor. And I was really fortunate to work in a variety of roles. Not only that enhanced my understanding of the IT function. But more importantly than that, it gave me a greater degree of depth and understanding of each of those different aspects of IT and how they fit together, whether it be release management, development, working as a developer, whether it be in user acceptance testing, whether it be in management consultancy, whether it be in IT strategy, whether it be in customer service, internal customer comms, etc. I was really fortunate. But ultimately, I was a business and IT change project manager, managing large projects on behalf of Aviva. But I was at that age where we wanted to have a family, and I could see that the direction of travel in my career was going to be that I was going to be 3 days a week in London, 2 days in Scotland. And for me, I wanted to be in a position that I was taking my kids to school. I wanted to be in a position that I seen them growing up and I could help shape. And I felt that that would be much harder. Could still do it, but it would be far harder if I was working away. So I looked at what was my career journey so far. What had I learned? What was David now looking like? And I thought what was appropriate was to perhaps set up a new business. I felt at the time when I started the business that we could do a better job than those who were already in the sector that we'd be competing with. I felt that there was very much the customer satisfaction wasn't even on the radar, never mind customer delights. Building relationships and not just building a website, but then understanding how could we help people kind of improve their online presence was critical. And they were looking to us to help develop that understanding and trust us to kind of look after their business online. And we were in effect a way in which we could help them be that window on the web. Thanks for listening. I hope that there has been some nuggets in what I've covered that may have resonated with you and you can use in your own career, or at least you can refer back to when you're making some decisions. I'm David Dwyer, the founder of Inspire. This has been my journey, but you have to remember as well that your career, don't look at it as a destination point. Look at it as a journey. It's a journey of discovery. I hope that's been of use. Thanks very much.